This time on Monkey Life. Bueno Jr. meets his new family.
He's a woolly monkey and needs to be with the others.
Wildlife vet John Lewis is worried about newcomer Clydie.
She's not getting enough nutrients even to support her own muscle mass. So no, she shouldn't be pregnant. That's not in her best interest at all.
And it's chaos at the Capuchin house when Winslow's group have a weigh-in.
William, come on. Mary. I think this could be quite a long day.
Monkey World in Dorset is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescues and rehabilitates abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
Really pleased he's made the journey really well.
The park provides a home for more than 240 monkeys and apes. Its aim is to give them as happy and natural a life as possible. There's a special visitor at Lavar's woolly monkey house. Bueno Jr. has been hand-reared by Alison since he was born. But now it's time for him to get to know his new woolly family.
It's fantastic. He's finally graduating to the next step, and we've been bringing him up here to sort of spend afternoons in his own little playroom that the ladies have kitted out for him, and really nice. So it's time that he starts getting familiarized with the woolly monkey house, because this is going to be the next stop.
Head of the house, Lavar, is curious to see the newcomer.
It's okay. No, I'm not going to put you up there with them now.
Bueno Jr. was born by caesarean section, but was immediately rejected by his mother, Sarah, who was shocked to find him clinging to her when she came round from the anaesthetic. Alison had no choice but to take him away and look after him herself. But although she's fed and cleaned him for the last 3 months, there are some things he'll only be able to learn by being in the house.
This is where we'll begin his introductions to other woolly monkeys. So getting him just familiar with the surroundings is good. Getting him familiar with all of the primate care staff that work down here with the woolly monkeys is important. So leaving him with them, and they can start taking over afternoon feeds with him. And perhaps most importantly, being around Lavar's group, hearing all of the trills. He's a woolly monkey and needs to be with the others. So everything that we do, from how we feed him to what the daily activity is based upon our minds thinking in a couple of months ahead of time when he's going to be rejoining the group.
Woolly monkeys are incredibly agile. They come from the Amazon basin in South America, where they live high in the treetops. Their prehensile tails act as a fifth limb, and they use them to hang from branches. But when Junior was born, his mother accidentally damaged his tail, and Alison was worried he'd never be able to use it properly.
It's come out good. We were very cautious with it. We stopped the infection, we got the wound healed up, and you can see now he uses his tail just brilliantly, wrapping around those hoses. Just a natural instinct to use it, and it's stronger than his arms or his legs. So really pleased that that's come good, because I can't even imagine what a woolly monkey without a proper prehensile tail, what it would even be like.
Despite his rough start, Bueno Jr. is now thriving.
He's put on loads of weight, he eats well, he's quite a happy little chap. We're trying to provide him, it's a really delicate balance, provide him what emotional support that he needs, while at the same time really encouraging him to be independent and at a very young age. Really looking forward to seeing him with other woolly monkeys. That'll be a big day. It's okay, you're good.
Tuan's orangutans are a fairly sedate group. They have a large outdoor enclosure with a fantastic climbing frame, although when it comes to taking exercise, they don't exactly push themselves. But today, the primate care staff are determined to make them work for their breakfast. If there's one thing that'll get orangs moving, it's food. Fortunately, head of orangs Jarno is also a qualified tree surgeon, so isn't fazed by having to scale the 40-foot ladder.
Right, let's let them out.
Lucky, who's quite nimble compared to the others, spots the fruit first. She's followed by Amy, who loves her food but will always take the easiest option. So while Lucky heads for the top, Amy grabs as much as she can from the lowest level. Still, at least she's off the ground. Leader of the group, Tuan, decides it's worth the climb, although maybe not to the top. Roro has already got her pickings and is heading to the ground to enjoy them in peace. Meanwhile, Amy's stomach has got the better of her. She's realised she's going to have to go higher. Amy's a little heavier than Lucky and Roro, so doesn't find climbing quite so easy. But she's a determined orang, so if there's food to be had, she'll reach it. With renewed energy from breakfast, Roro wants to know if any of the others are up for a low-level play session. There's no sign of Lucky or Amy, but Tuan, who's always keen to please his ladies, heads over. He has a soft spot for Roro, and she enjoys the attention. But after a while, Roro decides that's enough exercise for one day. At the park's hospital, wildlife vet John Lewis has been called in to examine Charlie and Clydie. The two marmosets arrived at the park yesterday, having been rescued from a house in Liverpool. Alison is concerned about their health, as they're worryingly underweight and malnourished.
We'll be looking for John to confirm their overall bodily condition, so whether they're scrawny or not, because they look scrawny to us. And also check their mouths, are their teeth good and solid? And for a marmoset, the biggest thing that we encounter is nutritional bone disease. And that's simply down to giving them an inappropriate diet in captivity.
Clydie is the first to be put under anaesthetic. This is risky with any animal, but John is particularly worried about Clydie, as she's pregnant, and the stress could cause her to miscarry.
Oh, very skinny. Yeah. That's not nice. John's words were perfect. Bag of bones. She's just a bag of bones. There's nothing to her. Her condition's a real issue.
John examines her swollen stomach and then has a quick look over the rest of her body.
The femurs don't look too bad. The tibias are a bit wonky. Skin's covered in that sort of greasy rubbish that's probably everywhere in her. You can feel every single vertebra in the backbone there. It's like I say, a bag of bones. She's got very little muscle.
Ooh, yeah.
The team have noticed that Clydie has a problem eating, so John wants to check out her jaw.
It's awfully wobbly. She's got a broken jaw, a maxilla. You see, there's movement there relative to the incisors. There,
But her whole jaw is broken.
Well, the maxilla's broken here, isn't it, between the canine and that upper incisor too.
Clydie's poor bone density brought on by her bad diet may well have contributed towards the fracture.
If you have very poorly mineralized bones, they're not very strong. And I would imagine that by correcting the diet over the next couple of months, that might just stabilize.
In the UK, marmosets need to be fed a specific diet to make up for the lack of sunshine in this country. One of the most important supplements is vitamin D3, which is known as the sunshine vitamin. Sadly, many pet owners don't realise this. With Clyde being pregnant, the team don't want to take any chances, so decide to leave any surgery until she's in better health.
I mean, there's no way she should be pregnant because she is in such poor condition. She will suffer as a result of the pregnancy because the nutrients necessary for the fetus are drained out of the mother's body. She's not getting enough nutrients, even to support her own muscle mass. So no, she shouldn't be pregnant. That's not in her best interest at all. And it's more likely to cause her further health problems. So the best thing with her would be not to put her in a position to get pregnant until she was fit and healthy. But she is pregnant. So we're going to have to beef her up nutritionally and try and support that pregnancy.
So, one down, one to go.
Get it back into the cage.
Get the door for me, please. Thank you.
But John fears Charlie may be in an even worse state than Clyde. Coming up, an anxious time for the team when Charlie keeps waking from the anaesthetic.
Right now, that male is chronic, serious suffering. You couldn't get worse.
And dissent in the ranks. Is second-in-command Tico about to challenge Hananya for the leadership? There are 82 Capuchin monkeys living at the park, and every month, every single one of them gets weighed. Today, it's the turn of Winslow's group. But Capuchin monkeys can be very mischievous, so it's never straightforward.
All our Capuchin tunnels have these removable crates. The one we have here is a modified one, which is our weighing crate. And basically, it's got a moving floor that we put the scales underneath. So when the Capuchin sits on the floor, you can actually get a more accurate reading because they're a real pain when we try and weigh them. Their hands come out, feet on the mesh, tails, or they'll hang off the roof. So this is a way, makes it a lot easier to get an accurate weight on all our Capuchins.
Toby decides to start with two of the youngest Capuchins.
This is Fabian. He's the baby of the group, really. He's a bit hyperactive, so it's getting him to sit still on the scales. Really, the trick in weighing them is to keep them still and keep their hands busy. You give them a couple of bits of food, and generally they'll let go of the mesh for a... He's actually quite a good weight for him. He's one of the smallest members of the group, and because he's quite low ranking, he's sort of been on extra food for a bit, but his weight's looking really good at the moment.
Next, it's Donnie's turn, but Fabian doesn't want to leave.
This is where it goes wrong sometimes, is you end up with two Capuchins on the scales at the same time. Will you go down there for a minute, Fabes? Donnie is actually our biggest Capuchin at the moment. He's the heavyweight of the group.
But Fabian isn't happy with all the attention Donnie's getting and manages to climb back on the scales.
Fabian, this is the fun of weighing Capuchins. They're very cheeky, very intelligent. They can open the slides themselves, and they'll flick their tails out and grab stuff, and they can just be very stubborn.
Toby decides to try another tactic and goes outside to encourage Fabian to move.
That's the wrong one. That's Donnie.
The naughty duo finally play ball, leaving the way clear for the rest of the group to get a look in. Because the Capuchins live in large groups at the park, it's important to monitor their weight to make sure they're getting their share of the food. Or in some cases, to make sure they're not eating too much.
So here we have Erico and Franco, who are the two that enjoy being weighed more than anyone else, I think. And Franco particularly is very fond of his food. He's a bit of a crybaby sometimes. 4.52 kilos, which again is about a normal weight for Franco, really. Winslow, you gonna come in?
Winslow is the leader of the group, and it's his turn next. But Franco is still sitting on the scales.
Frankie, and you're just gonna sit in there with him. Winslow, in you come. This is Winslow. He's quite grumpy. He likes to give you a bit of attitude. He likes to put Franco in his place. Franco's his little brother. Hello, Lucy. Good girl. Come on, Onslow. Elvira. Come on, Vera. Elvira. Come on. Let's come and have this. Norman, are you coming? Got 8 left away. It really is quite a mission to get all 82 every single month. William, come on. Mary. Come on, Elvira. I think this could be quite a long day.
Capuchins aren't the only primates to have a pecking order. Chimpanzees have a strict hierarchy too, and each of the 4 groups at the park has a strong leader who commands respect. Butch, Sally, Paddy, and Hananya. But just occasionally, there can be dissent among the ranks. Hananya has been #1 in his group for 9 years and has proved to be a popular leader. He took over when he was just 12 years old from a chimp called Rodney, who was deposed after the rest of the group turned on him. Hananya had been Rodney's second in command, so knew the ropes, but struggled with his new role at the beginning. He had a lot to learn, and it took him a while to gain respect in the group. Leadership didn't come naturally to him. But over the years, he's matured into his position of responsibility. However, recently there have been signs of another power struggle, with fights breaking out.
We have noticed that Hananya's group have been squabbling a bit more than usual, and it's something that we're keeping an eye on. With any sort of community of social primates, you're going to have arguments and disputes because, of course, there's a hierarchy, and if there's an opportunity to move up the hierarchy, they're going to take it.
The main protagonist in these scuffles is Tico, Hananya's #2. He's a very confident chimp and may be trying to undermine Hananya. The dominant female, Cherry, also seems to be unsettling him.
We've seen a lot more vigilant behaviour from Hananya. You'll often see him moving around the outside enclosure, either patrolling or just on the move, really, looking quite unsettled. He's looking around, he's looking over his shoulder. I certainly think he's very aware of where Tico is and what Tico's doing, and the same would go for Cherry. So then if there's ever a time when Tico and Cherry are having some time together, that can unsettle Hananya quite a bit. Certainly Tico is pretty sneaky. He's always had that reputation.
As a leader, it's Hananya's job to discipline members of the group if they're out of line. He regularly displays to show them that he's big and strong. But recently, he's been putting Tico in his place more than usual. And this could be a sign that he's feeling insecure and doesn't want to be messed with.
We have seen Hananya using Tico in his displays a bit more. That is a development, and I guess for him it makes perfect sense. If you can discipline your second in command, then you can discipline anyone. The fights, when they happen, they're scary, and they're something that we need to monitor. Dynamics and hierarchies within chimp communities do and can change. I don't know what the future's going to hold for this group, but at the moment, Hananya's got that top spot and he's holding on to it.
Back at the hospital, things aren't looking great for marmoset Charlie. John thinks he may have serious issues with his tail.
He didn't like you doing that. I wonder if that's painful.
Yeah, quite.
He certainly didn't like you doing it.
Like Clydie, Charlie has nutritional bone disease brought on by his poor diet when he was kept as a pet. An X-ray confirms John's fears.
And then here we can't even see
In the end of the
bones.
tail, there's nothing.
Well, you can see the fragments,
Yeah,
the sort of
little
shadows,
tiny
the
bits.
ghosts of bones there, but that's all.
I've never seen a
Oh,
tail
wow.
like that before, ever.
The team are under increased pressure because Charlie's weak bones are causing him pain, which means he keeps waking from the anesthetic. John decides to leave Charlie's tail for the time being and concentrate on his mouth. His teeth are in a bad way, and one of them needs to be extracted.
Well, he's broken it at some point and exposed the pulp, the cavity in the middle of the tooth, and obviously bacteria's got in and destroyed the pulp, the nerve, the artery, the vein, etc. The tooth's dead. It needs a good blood supply to keep it alive.
It's just a travesty, the British pet trade, and what's happening to the wildlife that's in the pet trade. For the marmosets, a good diet is all it will take. I mean, that's why I get so upset about these things. All of this is unnecessary. They shouldn't be living in indoor bird cages without people who are qualified or capable of looking after them. And all it will take is for us to feed them properly for a week or so, and their bones will stiffen up and there won't be a problem anymore. But right now, that male is chronic, serious suffering. His tail is clearly very painful. He had a mouth with broken teeth and infection. She has a broken face, bad bone density, and is carrying babies. You couldn't get worse.
Next time on Monkey Life, Jin leaves Gordon's group and joins the orang nursery.
So far, it's gone really, really well. Jin is totally in love with Linga, and it's the real thing.
And mischievous chimp Bart causes mayhem at Paddy's enclosure.